Brian and Kenzie in the morning. And Chicago's alternative all day.
Q101.
So a major announcement coming up around 8 o'clock with Brian and Kenzie on Q101 related to broadcasts. We have ours this Friday at Lizzie McNeil's for St. Patty's Day. You have to join us out there live. The show will be doing it live. We're doing it live out there. Friday at Lizzie McNeil's going to be a big party.
Could you imagine if it was pre-recorded?
Gather around the boombox.
Yeah.
Everyone show up, we're going to press play.
There's just a table with laptops on it when they show up, and then we're not there. Well, you know, some morning shows do that, you know.
We're sending everybody a 4-hour cameo for St. Patrick's Day this year.
Oh, my God. All right, we'll
Hi.
be there, though.
It's Kenzie checking in from Arizona, just wishing you a happy St. Patty's Day. Hope it's going great at Lizzie McNeil's.
Kisses.
This is for Ryan. Your mom said you're a huge listener.
Yes.
Oh, man. Now, before we get to that announcement, you or your child might have a job you don't know about and doing some things that is certainly illegal in Illinois. And maybe it's your job that's doing, your business that you work for is doing something wrong. That's where this story comes from in Illinois, in Lockport specifically. Let's go to Fox 32 for the news.
The Illinois Attorney General's office is now suing the owner of a McDonald's in Lockport after they say he violated child labor laws. Nicholas Corey is at the center of the lawsuit. The AG's office saying he employed dozens of 14 and 15-year-olds who did not have the proper work authorization. They also say Corey forced underage employees to work excessive hours without required breaks. In fact, they say some were allegedly forced to work 17 straight hours.
Oof.
An audit conducted by the Illinois Department of Labor found the restaurant committed 568 violations between January 1st and July 8th of 2023. And as a result, the business was fined more than $2.1 million, which so far it has not paid.
I wouldn't pay it either.
Nobody wants to work anymore. Bunch of whiters.
So this is a McDonald's in southwest suburban Lockport, and this happened about 3 years ago, the 2023. And so it's funny that the money hasn't been paid 3 years, and it's still going on, this situation. But they were hiring 14 and 15-year-olds to work, just like they said in the story, 17 hours straight, sometimes
Which
till...
I think is normal. I think you're allowed to work there. I was like a hostess at a restaurant at 15.
So I looked it up. In Illinois, the minimum age to work is 14 years old. It says generally 14.
Yeah.
Illinois is going to go with an age is nothing but a number.
Yeah, I was like, that was a very R. Kelly defined teenage.
Yeah.
14 how?
It's kind of like a bouncer checking IDs at the bar. I'm 21. Yeah, really? Okay. Let me see your fake. So, also it says they must have valid employment certificate, a work permit. They cannot work in hazardous conditions or with hazardous machinery or in places serving alcohol. McDonald's, no alcohol, and as far as I know, except for maybe the ice cream machine, no hazardous equipment going on.
I don't know. The fry oil.
Well, that is true.
Sorry to live in a plastic bubble, but I would think that injuries could very easily happen in a McDonald's kitchen.
You could do that anywhere. You could, books could fall on you at the library. I mean, if we're going to do that.
Yes, I agree. Most things are hazardous.
Right. So
well,
everyone's got to just not work. You got to start working.
Well, Kenzie, to be fair, I do want to point out that a book falling on your foot is different than your hand in a deep fryer. That's
on your face? You could be knocked unconscious if that shell fell on you.
Would you rather have a book to the face or your hand in a deep fryer?
I don't know.
Well, only one way to find out. Let's do both.
Can we get a deep fryer in here, please? Let's see which is more painful.
What book is it?
It's Moby Dick is the book. So
in the face.
That's what this guy had happening at his place. Now, I have a couple angles on here. We're 14 years old. When you're 14 and someone's saying you can work 17 hours and make minimum wage, it doesn't say he wasn't paying them properly. Just that he disobeyed those rules. Like they worked long hours until 1 in the morning. A 14-year-old shouldn't be coming home from work at 1 in the morning.
Don't they have to go to school at some point? 17 hours eats up the entire school day.
It did say that.
Well, not if they're working a Saturday.
It did say they were on school days till 1 in the morning, or at least during the week.
Well, somebody had to come pick them up.
Yeah.
They weren't driving.
Well, you could walk home maybe if the McDonald's was nearby, but
That'd be hilarious if you worked 17 hours and your mom's like, walk. I'm not going to deal with you.
Got a little knapsack on your shoulder like you're running away from home.
With a kerchief?
Tough.
Yeah, with a kerchief.
Listen, as a parent, I don't want to judge other parents, but if you're picking up your kid at 1 in the morning at McDonald's after a 17-hour shift, maybe you should see what's going on in there a
Maybe
little
meet
bit.
the manager. Maybe see what's up. A little meet and greet.
I'm not trying to judge parenting out there. Listen, I know it's tough out there. We all need a little extra money. Why not have your kids work 17 hours at McDonald's at 14? Now, to Kenzie's point, like I worked at 14, working 18 hours at a golf course.
More than one job at that age.
What were your jobs? Was Famous Dave's one of them then?
I worked at Famous Dave's. I also had a paper route, and then I also, when I wasn't getting scheduled shifts, I'd pick up babysitting shifts.
Wow.
So, because my parents would give me $0. So for my phone, I had to pay for my phone if I wanted one.
Yep.
I had to pay for like the gas in my car, my insurance, all that stuff. Once I got that at 16, to save up. And then if I wanted to do anything, like if I needed clothes or shoes or anything, like I had to pay for that.
And I'm also not being judgy with this one. I'm judging parents for picking up their kids at 1 a.m. at McDonald's, Kenzie. But I can't. Can you picture Kenzie with a paper route for some reason?
The process of pedaling and throwing is where I'm hung up on Kenzie being able to do that at the same time.
Well, because I walked it because I can't ride a bike.
Oh,
Remember?
asked and answered.
Yeah,
That's right.
right. That's right.
Which must have took forever.
It took so long. And then it was Minnesota. So imagine how cold it was most of the time I did it. I did it in the winter.
Wow. And that big bag of papers.
It was so big.
All right. So they were working there, 14 and 15-year-olds at this McDonald's in Lockport for 17 hours straight. Also, when they say in there they got no breaks, I don't remember needing a break at 14.
Okay, but you weren't working 17 hours straight.
I worked at a golf course sometimes, but there was a lot of downtime at the golf course. Like people kept asking for fries for 17 hours straight. I might need a break.
Yeah,
I guess.
that would be really stressful.
Might need a scotch and soda.
You would just have, like, worldly events would happen and you would have no knowledge of it because you're stuck in a McDonald's kitchen for 17 hours at a time. That's disorienting more than anything. If you're in a McDonald's for a half hour, you're like, wow, I've been at this McDonald's a long time. If you're at a McDonald's for 17 hours straight, that's an absurdly long amount of time.
Do you feel like you're in the movie like a Clockwork Orange or something,
I'd
or
be going
Memento? It's
insane.
just going backwards
If I'm
around.
home for 17 hours straight, I'm like, man, I gotta go for a walk or something. I gotta get outside. If I'm in a
That's the thing
McDonald's,
is most of these kids were probably excited to get out of the house. They probably felt like he's hitting that ripe age of like 14 where you want to feel like an adult. And they're like, yeah, I'm super grown up. I'm at this McDonald's. They're excited. They're revved up.
but then you're just at a McDonald's for 17 hours.
And then, the guy puts a
It's like
padlock
you
on the
can drop
door.
off at Walmart and walk around. They'll do anything.
Now, Allison checked in and said, I had deep fryer burns. Throw a book at me all day.
Okay, good to know.
That's a comparison on that.
Hit her with a book if you see her. It's what she wants.
Also, Justin checked in and said, I got a worker's permit at 15 and worked at my local Culver's. I was not allowed to use the cash register. Not allowed to use a knife.
You just seemed sketchy.
Wait, not allowed to use a knife.
He was allowed to use a knife. Not allowed to go in the walk-in freezer. And not allowed to use the microwave.
Sounds like you didn't work there.
What'd you do? Sweep up?
Waiter.
Which isn't bad if you're making money. I'm just saying they didn't let you do any of the fun stuff.
Also, I never needed a work permit for it. Did you guys have to get a work permit?
Never. But I worked in the 1800s, so I rode my horse in there when I was 14. I mean, they didn't have paper when I worked. I mean, it was like 14 years old.
Chiseled it into the stone, the fast food order.
I worked in a steel mill and a coal mine at 14.
What are you, Rudy?
Yeah. Which, by the way, his friend blows up, and then he goes to Notre Dame after that.
He's like, sorry, man, I just love the game so much.
Yeah. My friend went to play football with the other one. His other friend blew up. No time of mourning there.
I started working at 16, and I did not need a permit. But Indiana might be weird with some of that sort of stuff.
Better or worse, Indiana, you think?
Probably worse.
Yeah.
With
I know
with all due respect.
The only thing I wasn't allowed to do was drive the catering truck. But one time somebody, because you have to be like 21 to do that. Because you're supposed to have like a trucker's license.
Kenzie, if you worked at Famous Dave still, you wouldn't be allowed to drive the catering truck.
Oh boy, do I have a story for you though. Because one time the person who was supposed to do the catering didn't show up. They're like, we need you. And I'm like, you want to drive the truck? Because like you're supposed to have like a truck license.
Like a
And
CDL?
yeah. It was a truck. And I was catering like a version, whatever they have, of NASCAR. And I'm like, okay. So some type of outdoor, I don't know, hillbillies racing cars. I don't care.
Was it a demolition derby?
Maybe. I don't know. You could tell me anything. So I show up and I set up the food and they're pissed because like, this isn't enough food. And I go, I just brought the order. Like I didn't take it. I don't know. And they're like, this isn't going to feed anybody. They were out of food in like 10 minutes. And then everyone got super angry and started throwing beer cans at the truck. And then I was like, I just packed up and left because I'm like, oh my God, this is getting like really, like they're getting really mad. Because I was required to stay a certain amount of time, but the trays were empty. And I'm like, so people are just getting angrier walking up to empty trays. And I think I'm just going to leave. And as I was leaving, drunk people were jumping on the truck. And I was crying. Like, I'm not even supposed to be here.
Oh, God.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101 will continue this conversation in just about 120 seconds about the McDonald's in Lockport that was hiring 14-year-olds, making them work 17 hours until 1 in the morning. More on that in a second. About some breaking news that's a little more lively. If you have an Illinois work permit, you can come and help out and work at Almost Home Tavern and Grill for Cubs opening day. Let's go. We're going to be out there. Once again, and just to make things clear, this Friday, St. Patty's Day, we're at Lizzie McNeil's for our St. Patty's Day broadcast. This will be 2 weeks from Thursday for opening day. They're pretty tight this year. So we were at Almost Home last year as well, just north of Wrigley Field. Loved this place. Wrigleyville's favorite bar, Chicago's favorite morning show, opening day. This is not a drill. Brian and Kenzie broadcasting live from Almost Home Tavern. It's 3801 North Clark. Thursday, March 26th, 6 to 10 a.m., right in the heart of Wrigleyville, in the shadow of Wrigley Field. Show up early. We're giving away some of the hottest concert tickets as usual. And, all kinds of Q101 swag. You got some breakfast out there. So come hang with us. Kick off baseball season right. Almost Home Tavern and Grill, just north of Wrigley on Clark Street. It's 2 weeks from Thursday, 6 to 10 a.m. We will be there. And again, we're going to see you at Lizzie McNeil's this Friday for our St. Patty's Day broadcast. More on that in a little bit as well. So we're talking about this story within Lockport. A McDonald's there was hiring 14-year-olds. They were working 17 hours to 1 in the morning. It is, all of us are very confused about this work permit thing that you have to get. You can work in Illinois at 14 with a work permit. Bob checked in and said, my kids were lifeguards at 14. They were expected to save lives. He's like, I know my kids. All was going to happen.
He's like, keep an eye on your kids at that pool.
Yeah.
I would 10 out of 10 recommend.
Oh, man. Anything else on the text line?
Well, Patrick checked in from Lockport and said that McDonald's sucks anyways. Everyone in Lockport is talking about how no one goes to that one.
Really?
Which I guess when it's
It sounds like a lot of people these kids were working their ass off.
It sounds like they were busy.
But that feels like a Lord of the Flies situation where eventually you put enough 15-year-olds in the room, something is going to go poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably not making the, Big Mac sauce the right way, I'd imagine.
Exactly. Just standards would depreciate at some point. Brian, you seem so confused by this work permit thing. Why don't you try to get one real quick? Can you look up where and how to get one?
Well, we all just said we have no idea. If someone goes like, you need a work permit, I'd be like, I'm from America. I was so confused.
I mean, yeah.
Show me your papers. I'm like, oh, which ones?
Which ones?
I don't know what that means.
Let's see. To get a work permit or an employment certificate for a minor under 16 in Illinois, well, I'll just pretend. I look pretty good right now, looking young.
Yeah, I thought you were underage.
Okay, you must first obtain.
Shot out 15-year-old.
There was always that big kid. They're like, whoa, what happened to him?
The big and old kid.
Yeah, he got held back. They used to whisper about the held back kid. That would have been me. You must obtain, quote, a letter of intent to hire from your employer. How would I do that? At 14, how do you do that? Hello, Mr. Thompson. I know you want me to work here. Could you just write a letter for me for the state of Illinois?
And I'm sure if I ran a business, I'd be like, yes, that would be the first step in getting your work permit. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I mean.
You're acting like they're jumping through fire here. I'm not as confused by the work permit as you guys are.
What does this do? What is the point?
It tells the state, hey, there's somebody under 16 working at this establishment. Let's make sure they're not working 17-hour days on school nights.
Sounds like they weren't doing a good job of that.
Well, they eventually rectified that.
Yeah.
Listen. Just give these kids a break. They're 14.
Listen.
If the Big Mac wasn't perfect, give it a break.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure you'd be really kind to the teenager that made your order wrong.
You throw the hot fries in their face.
Dump the hot coffee back on him. Okay, this next one really confuses me and blows my mind. So first you have to get a letter of intent to hire from your employer if you're under 16 in Illinois to have a work permit. Mm-hmm. The second thing you got to do is secure a medical statement of fitness.
Oh, that's so annoying.
You mean you can't listen? I was a
What do you mean?
I can say this because I was a
You're
fat
gonna
kid.
do like a Tough Mudder to get a job?
Yeah.
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
I can say this because I was a fat kid. If I can't do enough push-ups, I can't work at McDonald's?
I don't think that's what they're saying. I think they're trying to make sure you don't have, like, epilepsy or a heart issue.
I'd be like,
At
look at me.
14?
At 4, yes.
Well, what?
You have no ailments
I
at
would be
14.
like, that's my business.
Oh, yeah, you want to defend your HIPAA rights real
Well,
quick.
yeah, you're gonna tell me that I can't work because I know if I can work or
Listen,
not. Get out of here.
Kenzie's body, her choice.
Yeah.
I agree.
Period, Brian T. That's pop off, kid.
And happy belated International Women's Day to you,
Thank you.
Kenzie.
Thank you.
Also, you have to present a birth certificate to get a work permit. I didn't know what those
I'm
were.
right here. I'm like the walking birth certificate.
I didn't know
I'm
what
alive.
I didn't know what one was till I was about 28. What
That
a birth
seems
certificate
troubling. That feels
Well,
like that
that's
should have
not-
come up sooner.
But you
Now
also,
I'm done being on your side. I was trying.
also have a social security card.
Aren't you born with you're born
I'm
with
sorry.
one of those?
Is that? This sounds like you're trying to move to a different country, not like you're trying to go to McDonald's. This is insane.
The last thing you need to have to get a work permit in Illinois if you're a minor is school records to your local school district or regional office of education. So I guess they
What
got
if
to
you're
know.
homeschooled?
I don't know.
Oh, they're
Your
not
mom's like, he's good. Just
getting,
looking at-
I don't think they're getting jobs anytime soon. I think you're fine.
And then a parent or guardian must accompany the minor to apply. So you got to find a time when, like, if I imagine asking my dad, can you take a day off work so I can go get a work permit?
Yeah, how are they supposed to get off work? Trust me, if you're working at 14, you don't have rich parents. This is annoying.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.
Brian and Kenzie on Q101. We mentioned the story, and I'll replay the audio here to kind of get you caught up about McDonald's in Lockport and what was going on there. This is from Fox 32.
The Illinois Attorney General's office is now suing the owner of a McDonald's in Lockport after they say he violated child labor laws. Nicholas Corey is at the center of the lawsuit. The AG's office saying he employed dozens of 14 and 15-year-olds who did not have the proper work authorization. They also say Corey forced underage employees to work excessive hours without required breaks. In fact, they say some were allegedly forced to work 17 straight hours. An audit conducted by the Illinois Department of Labor found the restaurant committed 568 violations between January 1st and July 8th of 2023. And as a result, the business was fined more than $2.1 million, which so far it has not paid.
Oh. I haven't paid that $2.1 million yet.
I can't believe
Go
they
ahead,
didn't pay
Kenzie.
that. They're always on the up and up. I can't believe
568 violations.
In 5 months.
That's a lot of violations.
Well, I guess every time a 14-year-old showed up, it was a violation.
I guess, yeah.
If he said, what's your shift today? So you start at 6 a.m. and you go home at 11 p.m. Okay, do I get a break? No. Okay, was that 2 violations right there?
I think that's 2 violations right there.
And if they didn't have a work permit, it's another violation, I guess. These work permits really, really annoying that seem to get in the way of all.
Well, you guys are pro child labor all of a sudden. The work permits are not as complicated as you're making it seem.
Hey, I'm not pro child labor. I just think it's more laborious for the child to have to go through 14 hoops to get a job.
You're just trying to earn out here.
Yeah, you're making it hard for them.
Just trying to earn my keep.
Yeah, this 14-year-old Corey's just trying to wet his
It
beak a
sounds
little
like
bit.
a
Walking around money.
It sounds like a way for my soon-to-be 12-year-old when it comes time for him to get a job to be like, it's just too hard. I'm just going to stay home instead.
Sorry,
That's what's annoying me.
I can't get the permit cleared. You know I would if I could.
I can't be doing all these things.
Like your 12-year-old comes back home he takes down his suspenders and goes, lights up a cigarette. Tried to get a work permit, denied again. Denied a work permit. Guess they told me to come back when I'm
Because you effed
14.
around in art class in 5th grade. I told you to bite you in the ass. Nobody believed me.
A lot of people checking in on their work experiences at 14 and 15. Like Megan just checked in and said, I started working at Domino's when I was 15. My manager would be in the back smoking pot while I was slinging pizzas.
That manager sounds cool as hell.
Is it Wooderson from Dazed and Confused?
It sounds like a good hang.
All right. Make another pizza out there, Megan. You're doing fine, girl.
Crushing it.
Gonna go get some Aerosmith tickets right now.
Oh my God. Becky texted in and said, my daughter worked at Jimmy John's when she was 15. She was not supposed to use a knife. However, they allowed it. She ended up cutting the tip of her finger off.
Oh my God.
And went to the ER twice because of the bleeding. They also
She had
made
to go
her
twice?
Twice. I guess they didn't stop the bleeding the first time. They also made her a team lead and sometimes work until after midnight.
At Jimmy
And
John's?
I'm not trying to be judgy about Becky, but like, you just kind of watched it all happen.
What could be happening at Jimmy John's to where you need to be there after, I don't know, 10:30 at the absolute latest?
Are you kidding me? Those cold cuts, you got to put those away properly. There's a lot of storing.
But I don't think they stay open that late. At least maybe
I
it
feel
was
like they close at 9.
They
yeah.
probably closed at 10, and then she probably spent like an hour or two cleaning up the restaurant. I would imagine they weren't properly staffed. She probably had to do the whole thing alone.
God,
Oh, yeah.
a Jimmy John's that's open until 10 sounds awesome. A late night Jimmy John's trip.
Yeah, I know
Oh.
this 15-year-old loved it.
They're putting the key in the door to lock up. I'm like, wait, I need a BLT.
I mean,
I've had a hard day.
she goes to the hospital. There's blood. I picture blood squirting out of her finger.
Absolutely. Guess I'm not getting my sandwich freaky fast. Or missing a finger over here.
Is that ketchup or blood on there? And then they just tell her it's a flesh wound. She leaves, goes back, makes more sandwiches with more blood on them. She finally has to go back to the hospital again, and they suture it up or whatever they do to make it actually stop bleeding. And then she goes back to Jimmy John's again.
I've never worked in the restaurant industry, so Kenzie, if I'm out of line here, please
Yeah.
correct me.
What do you got for me?
But my understanding is that knives are a huge part of restaurants, and so
Yes.
if I was in the hiring process, I wouldn't hire people that legally aren't allowed to use knives.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
That's why Jimmy John's let it slide.
I mean, you got the sandwich done there, and then you got to go like, I got to call for Bob in the kitchen. It's, some 48-year-old guy smoking weed in the back. Can you cut this sandwich for me?
Could you imagine every time they had to make a sub, somebody else had to cut it? Like, that's not even a helpful employee.
That's what I'm saying, is they're in the way at that point.
Oh, man.
So I've got 2 texts because one just came in from James who said his wife worked at a Jimmy John's in Milwaukee and they were open until 3 a.m.
What?
That's
Oh my God,
insane.
I'm moving to Milwaukee.
Let's go.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah.
A lot of 15-year-olds there, just depressed.
A lot of 15-year-olds there. I'm going, that's my
Not good.
place.
Oh, there you go.
So Brittany checked in and said that she worked at Culver's when she was 15 and they made her wear a white hat instead of a blue hat so that they knew she was underage.
Why? So, like, Epstein knew who to grab?
I was going to say, I don't know what sort of Epstein hazing ritual that is, but Brittany, I'm sorry you went through that.
Oh.
A certain guy walked in, they're like, white hat. That's, like, creepy. I wouldn't want to wear that hat.
And I'm glad.
That would freak me out.
Yeah, I mean, I hope that information doesn't help anybody out. Putting that on the air right now. Ugh. I don't know if they still do that.
That's bizarre.
Still do what? Human trafficking?
Well, no, put the white hat on the underage person.
Oh, okay.
I don't like that.
But we also hope that they're not doing human trafficking.
Of course.
To be clear, again, a lot of morning shows aren't going to say that today.
Yeah.
We're against human trafficking, especially in the vicinity of a Culver's.
So, again, I hate to say it, but if you're listening to somebody else, you're kind of supporting human trafficking. But that's for you to decide. It's not
Yes.
for me to decide.
Ugh.
We've already taken our stance. It's up to you.
So 630 checked in and said, my first job was at Foot Locker at 15. I lied and said I was 16 to get the job. Had to be up front when they asked me to see my birth certificate. At Foot Locker, they asked them to see a birth certificate?
Don't you guys need to show a birth certificate to get hired here?
I don't think so.
No. I don't even remember doing paperwork
Yeah.
here.
Your hiring process was different. We sort of.
I'm not going to lie to you.
But also, I got a phone call and I kind of started working here. Money started just coming in.
You got a phone call when you just teleported here from Philly?
Yeah, I just came back home and I got the job. And I think I filled out my application like 4 months after I was here.
That sounds like something we would do, actually.
But this 630 continues. Said they asked to see his birth certificate after having worked there for a few weeks. Found out the guy I worked with was a serial killer. years after, while I was watching the news one evening. So he was a serial killer probably when he worked with him, and then no one knew him, and then later they must have caught him. Thank God. But I guess.
Thank God.
Yeah. But I worked at Foot Locker there.
That's a bummer.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about the weird stage you have to be in life to lie about working at a Foot Locker, to be like, no, I'm actually allowed to work here. I'm 16, not 15. That's just a weird position to be in.
As much as I appreciate the tidbit about the serial killer, I want to know the response when he found out you were lying about your age. Did he try to kill you?
I'm sure he said,
I want to know what was said.
I'm sure he's like, he was a nice guy. People always said that about really bad people. He was a nice guy, kept to himself. He was very nice. And then they go out and do bad things.
Well, that's always why it's a shock.
Dylan checked in, also said, these are people talking in this situation we're talking about at McDonald's in Lockport that hired people, broke a lot of work rules in Illinois. 14-year-olds working 17 hours till 1 in the morning. No breaks, by the way. Oh. So Dylan said I worked at Best Buy at 16, and everybody hated me because Best Buy followed all the rules. Couldn't work more than 4 to 5 hours on school days, and he had to leave at 9. But he was like a rules-following guy, and
Bastard.
They hated him.
I started working at 16, and I've had a job consistently since I was 16. But if I had a kid, I wouldn't want them to be working before that age, because even I, somebody who did not love being a child, it's not like I was full of childhood whimsy, but there is only one time in your life where you're not in the workforce, and once you enter, you're either retired or you're a bum for the most part. So I feel bad that people are mad at the guy at Best Buy because they were following child labor laws.
Well, you're a rules follower in that situation, I think, too, at the workplace.
Yes, I don't think children should be working coal mine type shifts, even if they're working in the coal mines.
Well, how are we going to get the coal?
I know, that's the problem.
No
these
adults
days.
are going to go in there because they know what's going to happen.
It's so dangerous when there's a kid.
I know.
They're small. They can squeeze in this tight space.
We got to get all the coal from the nooks and crannies.
Yeah, and all the coal's always buried in there. That's the problem. It's like a claw game, the coal mine.
Oh, man. Are you ready to hear from Smitty here? Smitty checked in from 708, said, I worked at Classic Video on Archer and Lockwood when I was 15. Half the video store was XXX Movies. It was blocked off by cowboy swinging doors.
Saloon doors, I believe, is the proper term.
I like cowboy swinging doors, how he described it.
Too.
The boss would just tell me to stop acting like I've never seen ass before and put the tapes away. Oh, stop acting like you've never seen ass. Go put the tapes away. Stop whining, kid.
Oh, my God.
Can you imagine the people that were going in that XXX video section of the store?
Swinging the doors open.
Oh, the cowboy doors.
Walking at a brisk pace to get to the porn section.
Oh, God, that poor kid.
I prefer a door that goes to the floor for those kind of people.
Sort of a trap door situation.
Yes.
Oh, God. Well, listen, we've all been through something, it sounds like, here with all the text line. We're all going through it together here.
And thank God we all got our work permits.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, listen, we've all seen ass before, am I right?
The Brian and Kenzie Show.
On Q 101.